There are many gacha games out there, but ever since I started staring at the revenue chart thinking of which game to make a video on next, a thought came to me. What if there are some hidden gems out there that are not listed in this chart? I mean, surely among the sea of cash grab games on the store page, there has to be something good that most people don't catch on to. Here's a challenge. Try browsing the gacha game section on the App Store without seeing one under the label Idol Auto Battler every 5 seconds. They all look the same and somehow even have extremely similar preview pictures. There's often no point trying to sift through these pages because a lot of the time, these games will come off as extremely uninspiring and low effort. However, what if there really is some hidden gems just lying in wait somewhere waiting to be discovered? Well, that's what I'll be attempting today. I'll be showcasing 4 gacha games that I've tried out that, with a bare minimum, at least tries to create a decent storyline or has something else interesting going for it. Some of these I got tipped off by my community, and some I just randomly found myself. My criteria for who makes the list is very simple. 1. I'm mainly looking for potentially intriguing games that no one has heard of before and see what creativity goes unnoticed. This means the game in question cannot be a generic 2D idle auto battler, or at the very least has a special gimmick to it. I probably would have made like 4 of these videos by now if I just covered every cash grab gacha game I see on the store. You will be shocked how many of those I came across. Guess that's every developer's first instinct when trying to make a mobile game. 2. The game cannot appear in the monthly revenue list, or at the least unknown enough that it makes no significant revenue and there's virtually no discussion around it online. These games are underground enough that it mostly evades Sensor Tower's spotlight. They're either just too niche or somehow have not caught their attention. 3. This goes without saying, since I'm trying to get more games out there, the cover game in question must still be operating at this time. No point digging up games that are already shut down. To make it a bit more interesting, since everyone likes tier lists and comparing things for some reason, I will be ranking said games on a scale of 1 to 3 stars. 1 star means the game was rather underwhelming, and I probably wasted my time. Note that even if a game gets 1 star, it's still a league better than the low-effort trash on the store page. 2 stars means the game is alright, but it's nothing special, so maybe it's worth checking out. 3 stars means that this is a hidden gem, and you should definitely give it a shot. Before that, a quick word from this video's sponsor, Neverness to Everness, a supernatural urban open-world RPG. Version 1.3 has arrived, and with it brings in a ton of new content. The new Duskmoor district is a new map area that's larger than the 5 districts when the game first launched, and will feature a holiday resort, beaches, and expansive forests. 2 new characters, Zanko and Linko, will be joining the roster alongside a new story campaign. Themed after the ultimate summer vacation, there'll be plenty of activities to supplement it. This includes a new jet ski vehicle to traverse the waves easier. The main attraction, however, goes to beach volleyball. Yes, there's now a beach volleyball minigame, and you can play it immersively while rocking this version's exclusive summer skins. Zanko with Searching Lavender, Nanali with Sunny Surf, Mint with Saltwater Taffy, Chaos with Chartered Waves, and the protagonist Appraiser with Cloudless Summer. I had to zoom in to really make sure, but NTE is really pushing the limits of gacha game graphics, as you can almost see the individual fabrics, creases, and any wet effects on those outfits. Use the link below to join in on the fun. Thank you again to NTE for sponsoring this video. The first one on the list is called Gyee? Anyways, this game caters to the LGBT audience, and some of the gay vibes shown here will ensure this portion of the video will never make it onto a Bilibili re-upload. First, there's a weird border on the top and bottom side of the screen. There was no way to remove this in the settings. I play this on the tablet, and it's likely they never accounted for people playing this on devices that are not phones since they have more squarish dimensions, which already speaks to the game's level of polish, or rather the lack thereof. As for the story, you're invited to a board game bar called Azria, alongside your friend. After asking the owner if he's got a game that's more exciting, he brings out a mysterious box that he claims only a person with a double Helios can open. Turns out you're a chosen one, and you're somehow transported to another dimension. You're in a sauna where all these other dudes are just relaxing, and a floating fairy comes over and tells you to stop drooling. And that since you manifested into this world, you have to assume a new body. I know it's almost customary to have a mascot character in gacha games, But there's just something uncanny about this thing that I can't describe. This leads to character creation where you'll choose a class. Since the game knows what audience it's targeting, you must choose to play a male character. This is the start of an adventure in true isekai fashion. Every level in the story contains a 3D world that you can traverse in, with the main and some optional side objectives sprinkled throughout. I have to say, I wasn't that impressed in my first impressions, as sometimes I'll just be fighting the camera instead of enemies, and the borders of the levels just randomly get cut off by an invisible wall. From what I can gather from the couple chapters I play through, the setting is a blend of fantasy and steampunk aesthetics. Some of the cutscenes and set pieces do at least make an attempt to show off the world building, which is one step further than the idle auto-battlers that litter the store page. On the other hand, it also doesn't take an expert to see that this looks and plays like a mobile game from 10 years ago. And the cutscenes with its static faces and unmoving mouths say they either have a very small budget or just never bothered to put the care into that aspect of the game. In terms of the gameplay, it's turn-based. I was at first worried it was literally just an auto-battler with a paper-thin extra layer of polish. But I do see there's a class system, and the mana that characters use can actually be quite distinct. For example, this tank character's special mana is obtained from taking hits from enemies. There's a turn order that's not exactly intuitive, but it works. Every attack will have different effects, and you can order your units to defend for a turn, which I really don't see a lot of in turn-based gacha games. I'm sure most of the strategies casual players use will just be slapping on the auto mode, but I can see its systems are not bare bones. The game seems to put a big emphasis on raising your bond with teammates, as that will unlock more upgrade features and their private photos. There's a bar where you can invite your bros to hang out, but in order to offer them a drink in the pool, you need to own a swimsuit outfit for them. The high reliance on raising bond stats will also be what the game sells to you in the shop. I also found the gacha system itself to be rather stingy, as I only got like 5 pulls after completing the first couple chapters. I imagine you have to play for a while to get far ahead, or just pay up. The cash shop will be filled with skins and other gift items to raise bond faster. It has all the trademarks of a mobile game to see here. You'll be surrounded by the company of muscular men, but aside from the flavor that the game sells to you, the game itself is just not good in my opinion. I'm giving Gyee a 1-star rating. The next game on the list is Shiba Wars. As soon as I saw that it's attempting to design a tower defense game, means that for sure it cannot be an idle auto-battler. This is just an early disclaimer that this game is not a gacha game in the literal sense. You'll flat out buy the characters with a set amount of in-game currency, except every other component of the game plays like a gacha game, like daily stamina, waifus to collect, and rarity tiers. I'll comment on this a bit more later, as I do think the implications of designing it like this are worthy of discussion. But first, let's see what the game is about. There's 2 games in the series, so naturally, I'll be playing the sequel, since I assume it's more refined than their first attempt. The main story is voice acted, and it follows you arriving home late to your dog that seems to be having a rough day. His name is Shiba, as in Shiba Inu, which is a bit on the nose, but okay. For some reason, your dog can speak and even has a day job. To clear your minds, you take a walk to a nearby shrine, where a goddess materializes and says she will grant you a wish. You want your dog to be granted a wish instead since he's having such a bad day. Unfortunately, the goddess accidentally gives Shiba immense power, enough to destroy the world, and he runs away on a conquest to do just that. I was at a loss for words what the hell I just witnessed. I have so many questions on what the world of Shiba Wars is like. So dogs can just somehow communicate with humans, can work jobs, but are still considered pets? Also, the protagonist literally gave up their wish so their dog can have it. And this is how the dog repays them? This beast clearly has no loyalty to its master. It is one evil bastard. Shiba runs off to recruit other dogs he's known since elementary school, which implies that dogs have a robust education system in this universe. And when finally ensnared, the goddess cannot remove the power within Shiba's soul, because his desire to dominate the world is just that strong. The goddess Lily contacts others to establish the Shiba Task Force, for the sole purpose of hunting down this dog before her superiors find out she messed up. I don't know why no one's aware just how ridiculous of a situation this is, but I have also never been this entertained reading the story of a mobile game in a while.
出してよ、出して。
ダメ。
わかった。
This whole thing is a giant fever dream, but I'll go along for now. Moving on to the gameplay, there's a central point on the map that you have to prevent enemies from getting to. Scattered around the map are spots to deploy your units, with ground units taking a different type of spot. The issue already kinda arises when there's no indication which routes enemies will take to get to your base, so you'll probably have to do some trial and error to figure this out. You can retreat a unit to get some of your points back, and when the ultimate gauge is full, you tap on their avatar to activate it. Also, as the map itself is 2D but not in bird's eye view, there's a bit of a slant to the environment. However, when you place down a unit, their range is displayed in a perfect circle, so sometimes it's kinda ambiguous if an enemy is within their range or not. I took a look at some of the level designs. At first, it may seem that the game has put a decent bit of effort into making some diverse maps, until you find out that basically all of them only have a single route that enemies can take to your base, with the exception of some flying ones. Without different layouts to shake things up, you get the impression that the game is only taking the label tower defense with the most minimum thought put into it, and I suspect it will become a race of stats when you're in the late game, as there is a ranking system here too. You farm for materials using stamina, and a sweep feature exists if you beat it perfectly with no supports. You can ascend the characters to break past their level cap while unlocking a passive skill, and the dupe system surprisingly only gives stat increases. This leads to the direct purchase system. The game has 3 rarity tiers, and naturally, the SSRs are the most plentiful and sought after. You have to use the premium crystal currency to get those, while the lower rarities with the common donut currency. On paper, this should look better versus a gambling-like gacha system, until you find out that there's a big power gap between the lower and high rarities, and the crystals are drip-fed to you so that you can't unlock one for free until like a week into the game. This would have been more excusable if the gameplay was actually good, where the crystal economy is more balanced so you can try out some of the units with more varied kits. But this was a swing and a miss. If you're specifically looking for a mobile non-gacha tower defense game, just go play Bloons. If you do want to collect waifus or whatever, there's also some of those on the market too. They had me in the first half with a funny dog story, but Shiba Wars gets 1 star. Sdorica is a bit of an odd one. It is actually on the revenue chart, but you have to literally go to the very bottom to find it. Surprisingly, it's been maintaining its livelihood for around 8 years, as the game was first released in 2018. For some reason, the game gives you a heads up that it requires access to your device's external storage, but that you should not worry about any privacy concerns. It probably won't do anything, but I have a feeling that single warning will turn some people away. Anyways, the game itself features some cool character designs and does try to paint some narrative of world building. The gameplay is puzzle-based, but it comes with a twist. You'll bring 3 units into a lineup, in which they're color-coded into the white, black, and gold slots. You must have one of each in the party, so only the gold characters can fit into the gold slot. You'll then have to match the orbs in batches of 1, 2, or 4 in a 2x2 grid. These effectively serve as a character's normal attack, skill, and ultimate. Used orbs will disappear and cause the grid to flow towards the left, so it kind of flows into you getting rid of the single orbs that are in weird places, then lining things up for the 4 orb combos. Enemies have a turn limit, where it decreases whenever you make a match. They attack when it's 0. If one of your allies goes down, they're not out of the game for good, as if you can connect enough of their orbs, they will be revived. I see this purely as a handicap, as if your team is powerful enough to begin with, this shouldn't happen to you at all. I think the deciding factor is how well they can innovate on this base gameplay loop, like characters that let you move or destroy orbs that are in inconvenient places, or ones that increase the dimensions of the grid or give you reserve orbs somehow. If that's the case though, I'd also provide some characters to new players to let them see how much more this puzzle gameplay can be expanded upon. You can pull characters of varying rarities in the gacha, and there's even special animations for a single, 5 pull, or a 10 pull. The rates are displayed in the corner here, but I'm not actually sure if all of the banners have a pity system, as I didn't see anything of the sort, but there is a construction-based mileage thing here. Characters can be leveled or limit broken past its usual rarity tiers, but as a game from 2018, the UI was nowhere near as cluttered as I thought. The cash shop is present and it's overpriced as you might have thought. I'm not sure if this game still has consistent updates, but it doesn't seem like there's a big enough community around it to sustain that kind of development. It makes me think that if the game gets even one whale, it can potentially jump the revenue numbers dramatically from the bottom of the list here. Conceptually, I found it pretty interesting, though its dated mechanics and lack of events make it unlikely someone will find this to be their long-term game. Not bad at all though. Sdorica gets a 2-star rating from me. Aha! Now, here's one that definitely caught my attention. Bleap is a mobile rhythm game that uses microtransactions to unlock songs and has a cosmetics gacha system to monetize. With a measly 10,000 downloads and 21 reviews as of checking, I brace for the worst since these are some pretty minuscule numbers. Opening up Bleap, the intro story is presented in a simple comic fashion. Basically, in the in-game society, playing music is not allowed, but the central protagonist Rhea wants to spread the joy of music so much that she plays it on the streets and beats up the police bots that go after her. Whatever, this is a rhythm game, the story doesn't matter. The gameplay is where it gets interesting. Okay, to be fair, there is a story campaign where there's some resemblance of a narrative, but I don't imagine that's what most people play rhythm games for. You can move your avatar horizontally across the screen, either by just dragging or tapping on the location and they'll move there right away. It kinda felt like Subway Surfers at first, but since it's a rhythm game, there's a judgment line where you're expected to hold or tap at the right intervals. The coins can be collected just by coming in contact, but the police bots have to be swatted away by tapping on the screen at the location they appear, where they overlap with the judgment line. For the case of these grind rails, then you have to hold your finger on the screen and drag it in the same locations as the rail until it stops. Obstacles on the road have to be avoided by just moving, but some must be jumped over via the swipe nodes, where you swipe your finger up, but swiping down also works. The rapid tap nodes are present too. As for these side nodes, you swipe your finger in the direction that they appear, and you can just let go until it stops. Playing the introduction levels were easy enough, and you'll notice how this unique playstyle synergizes with how the music is charted. When I got to the advanced stages, that's when things started heating up. It's quite common for rhythm games to require 2 inputs at once, and this is where you'll have to use both hands. Your avatar has a helper bot on the side that can react to pink obstacles instead. There will now be points where you have to tap using 2 fingers at once, 2 hold nodes where both hands must guide the lines at once, and when you're within the duration of the slide nodes, you'll need additional inputs. The pink nodes are hit by the bot instead, meaning that it won't move your avatar to that location. And this mechanic tripped me up quite a bit when I got to the harder tracks, where the difficulty curve really starts to ramp up. Every song has 3 difficulties, but some of them will have the 4th one that requires you to hold on the plus button repeatedly until it switches to it. This playstyle utilizes the fact that it's played on a mobile device and puts a spin on regular rhythm games. I've never played one like this before, and it took me a few tries to get accustomed to it. While the gameplay is fine and all, I was wondering how much is locked behind the gacha system, as it's quite normal for these games to let you score higher if you're using the right items. Well, taking a look at the cash shop, there are 2 things of note. Unlike the other rhythm gachas, you can just directly pay around $3 to unlock the base game, and another $30 to unlock every song pack. To put it into perspective, if this accounts for future song releases too, then it's an incredibly good offer. Some songs can even be unlocked by gold, which is obtained by just playing. Individually, buying song packs are also available, and if you convert them from the premium currency, it's around $3 to $4 per pack, which some of them will even include some cosmetics. Buying song packs will also give you a discount to unlock the full bundle, in case you want to do that later. Is there an upgrade system for beefing up your characters? No, there isn't. There is no stamina system either, so play as much as you want. There is, however, daily and weekly missions for getting in-game stuff and gacha currency. Due to this design of not having any meta progression, you can argue if it's fair for this game to make the list at all. But, I mean, there's still a gacha system and you can still pay cash for it, so why not? Really asks the question if the only way to make gacha games morally is by monetizing the cosmetics only. Anyways, this means your final score for a chart is directly influenced by player skill instead. Where the gacha portion comes in is for the cosmetics. You can either control the protagonist or your own avatar, and included in the gacha system is clothing and accessories for basically every slot on their body. There's a separate gacha banner for gear cosmetics instead, and the coloring system is one-time use, so you better make those color dyes count. From what I can tell, you'll still get a steady supply of the outfit tokens for free, but obviously if you want the rare stuff, you're likely going to play for a while or pay for the premium coins. I can't really tell you my impression of it since cosmetics are super subjective, and even if the game is stingy, you can make an argument that the skins have no impact on your gameplay. All that being said, this is one of the better hidden gems I've played, and with a unique playstyle alongside the cosmetics gacha, it absolutely deserves a 3-star rating. It's a game that definitely deserves more recognition, and I'd probably even recommend this one over the other idol group-focused rhythm gacha games, assuming you're into rhythm games, that is. There we have it, 4 underground gacha games that are so niche they're mostly not on the monthly revenue chart. I scanned the comments for some of these, and I'd say I've landed on some disappointments, but a few of these did surprise me. Anyways, let me know down below if you liked another volume of videos in this style, as you never know what kind of weird stuff is out there. If there's great demand, I might also expand the search to gacha games that are only available in non-Western regions. Hope you saw some areas of gacha games that are rarely seen before. And if you want to watch even more gacha-related content, subscribe to the channel. You can support for as little as $2 a month on Patreon. As always, thank you for watching, be sure to spend moderately, and have fun out there.